So, we are in another new railroad. Nice looking depot. Lots of desert landscape. And we are back in California near National Park. This is the Joshua Tree and Southern Railroad just outside Joshua Tree, California, and the Joshua Tree National Park. It's actually on Park Road, one of the main entrances to the park. This railroad is a private property, but the property is owned by the club, so the club owns it. It's a interesting setup. I haven't heard of this one before, and the setup of the track is something else. It's a point-to-point going up a hill with a switchback branch line, a balloon loop, a Y, quite a few bridges, all very compact and nicely done, I'll say. So, yeah, let's take a look around at this place, but first let's take a train ride, starting from the top, where you get the best views, and make our way back down to the depot here. The top is, follow me here, up that hill. Might not look like much from here, but for a railroad that is rather steep. And I must thank Paul and Doug for showing me around the place a little bit to make sure I don't get lost or anything else bad that might happen. Enjoy the video. Please consider subscribing, at least watch some other videos. I post stuff like this all the time, so please enjoy. From the top of the hill, we take our way down towards the first leg of the Y and only leg of the Y. It only goes back and forth. There's a couple sketchy bridges made of steel, so they're nice and solid, but still, it's a little, you have to be careful still. We go down to the end of the leg of the Y where there's a nice wide area, and that leg ends at the property line, so don't go any further, and there's not really a stop for you to just tumble down the hill, so be careful. Best to have brakes if you have a heavy train. And this area is a little bit flat, so nice for putting chairs or something and just hanging out a bit and enjoying the view of Joshua Tree. Now we go back, and by that I mean backwards, down the other part of the switchback. This goes around the steaming bay and roundhouse with a few very sizable bridges, all meant to help avoid any washouts or any possible flash flood damage, because a desert always has potential for very bad flooding. Now we're on the main line. I changed directions and went around a few times before filming this part. At the top there is a balloon loop, and if you noticed earlier, there's a few full-size pieces of railroad equipment, a few passenger cars and other things, which you will see later in the video. So at the top, this balloon loop also has a loading and unloading area, 3 tracks, enough for multiple people to load-unload at the same time in one spot. Very convenient, I'll say, and they did say it was one of the best systems you'll find, and one of the better ones, I'll agree, but I haven't been around long enough yet. Also at the top there is a area for loading the ballast from a working conveyor belt and chute. Yeah, I was surprised by this too, and it's not like a front loader having to load up some boxes on flat cars or actual hopper cars for ballast moving. As we continue our way down past the switchback branch line, there is a shop area, roundhouse, and steaming bays, a few storage places, and if you'll notice, there's quite a few spots for RVs. There is a lot of places for camping, either possibly tent camping or RV, when the meets happen. Since this place is quite remote, they try to attract people by allowing options to stay. One of the options is staying in one of the passenger cars, well, the sleeper car, which you will see later in the video. A little rough, to say the least, but hey, it's something to stay in, and it's pretty cheap too. At the lower section, there's a number of track projects going on. A good amount of track replacement, mainly, and additions. You just saw 2 steaming bays being added in progress. That's what those 2 spurs were off to the left. And much of the double track section on the lower part of the railroad has been replaced from wood to plastic ties and from aluminum rail to steel rail. Much better, last quite a bit longer, but maybe I'll do a video about pros and cons versus how to make track. There's a whole list of things and a rabbit hole that I could go down for that, but that's for another time. At the bottom of the railroad, we return to where we began this trip, from the top back down to the station. At the end of the station, past the building, there is a Y that is on 2 bridges. A little high up and maybe nerve-wracking for some, but it wasn't too bad. The switch is already set for you to pull through on one leg of the Y, back it up, go through the other and another switch, and turn around, as you'll see in just a moment. Now that our little ride over the Joshua Tree and Southern Railroad is done, there's a few more things to see. Let's start with the Gauge 1 Railroad at the top in the balloon loop for the turnaround. They not only have 7.5-inch gauge, but they also have smaller G gauge garden railway. If you want to bring your G scale up here and have a good time, you can do that too. Goes round back, little loop down here. Maybe almost overgrown, but you could still run trains on here. Don't know if it's electrified or how it's set up. Now, let's take a look at the elephant in the room. The passenger cars, the box cars, and there's the 15-inch gauge railroad up there. Up somewhere over there. You'll see. Now we're at the top of the property. This is where the 15-inch gauge railway is. Quite a nice bridge that you can get some scenic views from. Take a look at those passenger cars in just a minute. So there isn't much here yet. Still a lot of work in progress going on. A lot of rail and track. Trying to build a roundhouse, and they do have a Shay locomotive which they sometimes run. It's not here at the moment, usually stored in the shed there. But man, they've done some work to get through here. Big rock cut. And let's go over to the roundhouse. Got a lead coming to the turntable. There's the turntable, and here's the roundhouse. Oh, I'd like to see how this thing turns out. 15-inch gauge, G gauge, or 7.5-inch gauge, you'll find it all here at the Joshua Tree and Southern Railroad. Now let's take a look at those passenger cars.
I'll lock up if you need to go.
You can have at it. Bunch of rooms, a bathroom.
So this is where they'd stay?
Yeah. So there's 4 bunk rooms like this. Some have 2 bunks in them, some have 1. There are some little...
Yep, water heater.
Yep. See, there's
And then...
bathroom. It's a little sketch, but it's...
I've had
it's
worse.
period correct, yeah. Just so you know what to expect.
That Rio Grande, it looks like.
Yeah. So they've had dinner in the diner a couple of times.
Nice.
As a fundraiser.
And what's this RPO car from? Do you know? Oh, Southern Pacific,
yeah.
too.
And it's pretty complete inside.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
I love RPO cars. And at the end here is a private car. There's a old wooden Southern Pacific caboose too. That looks vintage. And with that comes the end of the video. Thank you so much for watching. Joshua Tree and Southern Railroad, I thank you so much. I came here on a Sunday, on an off day for the meet, when people were packing up, and they showed me around the place, helped me unload and pack up my train. Didn't stay here for too long. I was a bit pressed for time anyway. But I thank you so much for getting to look at this wonderful little railroad. As always, this is Nate's Vintage Trains. Keep it old school. Jesus loves you, and God bless you all.